Hey everyone, this is Purti, and today I want to talk about trade and currency. So, what is trade and how did this all begin? Since ancient days, we know that people have exchanged goods and commodities with each other. Let's take a look at a beautiful illustration here. I know what you're thinking. No, it's not my 10-year-old niece who's painted this. I have painted this, and I think she can actually do a better job than this. So let's say a person A had a heap of fish and he wanted a loaf of bread. So he would exchange it with the person who had a loaf of bread. This is nothing but the barter system. We see this kind of behavior even in schools among children, where children exchange their candies for a bunch of Pokemon cards. All this was great when there were a few transactions or a few people involved because most of the transactions were kept as a mental ledger. But what happened when the transactions grew or people grew? It became difficult to manage these transactions. So there was a need for a medium of exchange which was universally acceptable. This medium of exchange is also known as currency. But what gives currency its actual value? There are multiple characteristics of a currency, but I'll be talking about four important ones. To help us understand better, let's take three random examples and check whether or not they can be used as a currency. Let's take a block of metal, let's say silver or gold. Let's take a gallon of milk, and let's take a bunch of Pokemon cards. The first characteristic is divisibility. That means a $1 coin can be divided as two 50 cents coins or four 25 cents coins. Let's go back to a random example and check for divisibility. Is the block of gold divisible? Yes. We can divide a block of gold into smaller chunks. Is the gallon of milk divisible? Yes. We can divide it into smaller sized packets. Is the Pokemon card divisible? That one Pokemon card divisible? I don't think so. No, because if you tear up Pokemon card, it will lose its value. Next is fungibility. But what does it mean? Let's say, for example, I have a diamond and my friend has a diamond. My friend likes the diamond that I have and she wants to exchange her diamond with mine. Would I exchange it? No, definitely not, unless I'm foolish. I don't want to exchange my diamond with her because I don't know her diamond's cut, I don't know her diamond's color, I don't know her diamond's size. Only if it's an exact replica of my diamond, I might consider exchanging it with her. This is nothing but substitution, where you should be able to exchange commodities for something that is of equal value. So let's go back to our example. Is the block of gold fungible? Yes, as long as it's pure gold. 1 ounce of gold has the same value everywhere, so you can exchange it with another ounce of gold. Is the gallon of milk fungible? Maybe, as long as it's of the same brand and it's of the same expiry date. Is the Pokemon card fungible? Definitely yes. You can exchange a bunch of Pokemon cards. Next is scarcity. That means it should not be easily available everywhere like soil or water, although water is now becoming a scarce commodity. So, is the block of gold scarce? Yes, because you need to actually mine earth to get your gold. Is the gallon of milk scarce? Yes, because they are only available in your refrigerator or in your supermarket. Are Pokemon cards scarce? All children would agree that they are really scarce and very valuable. Next is portability. That means that we should be able to carry it around easily without any hassle. Again, is the block of gold portable? Yes. As long as you're not worried about it getting stolen, you can carry it around everywhere. Is the gallon of milk portable? Yes. You can carry it around, but if you hold it for a long period of time, then it tends to get spoiled, so it actually loses its value. So, in a way, it is actually not portable. Can you carry around a bunch of Pokemon cards? Yes, you can carry around a bunch of Pokemon cards. In our random example, the only thing that ticked all of these checkboxes was gold, and that is how gold or metal coins were introduced in the market for circulation as a currency. So, just as a recap, today we spoke about trade, characteristics of a currency, and how the gold or the metal coins were introduced in the market for circulation. In the next video, I'll be talking about how paper currency was introduced in the market. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with your friends if you found it useful. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye bye.